last days, a somewhat bold statement has been made that our destination is not enlightenment. Our destination is a state of absence of illusion. We all know very well the story of the Buddha, a prince awakened to the suffering of life and setting out on the arduous quest that brought him to that amazing symbol, the Bodhi tree, under which he sat, stating, "I am not moving from here until I know," and then facing and conquering the dancing girls, the lust, facing and conquering the demons who offered him power and glory, facing and conquering the all-consuming fires of fears, before he rose up, as is said, enlightened and beginning his journey into life to spread bodhicitta, compassion, and non-himsa, non-hurting, into existence. But you'll perhaps also remember the story of that great Pandit, we called him Ram Das, who came from a long line of scholars and Pandits of the Hindu faith, and like all Hindus, believing that all existence takes place in the body of Vishnu, and then having the experience one day of feeling himself slipping out of the mouth of Vishnu, out of the mouth of existence, into the great void. And in that void, he flailed around desperately, and using all the faculties of his extraordinary intelligence and mind, and calling on all the mantras and affirmations that he'd ever learned, bringing back the faintest outline of Vishnu, and with an extraordinary effort of mind, having Vishnu hold out his hand and pop him back into the mouth of existence once again. But after this experience, nothing could be the same again. So before that, he used to teach all his students, all his followers, that they were unique and necessary atoms in the body of Vishnu. But he could no longer teach this with validity. But then, after some while of being uneasy and somewhat unhappy, it happened again. He found himself slipping, and again he slipped out of Vishnu's mouth, out of existence, into the void, non-existence. And this time, even though he flailed around desperately, no effort, there was no possibility, no thread of mind left to enable him to even recreate the faintest of outlines of Vishnu, existence. And then he stopped flailing. All effort ceased. And then, after some while, he found himself back in existence once again, back in Vishnu's mouth. But there was no possibility that he could go back to what life was before. He built himself a small hut on the side of a river, and there he sat. People came from all over, but then that's another story, as is that which rests between the moment when Ramdas slips out of Vishnu's mouth, out of existence, into non-existence, and finding that there was no trace of mind, no thread that he could catch to enable him to recreate life. So the question that arises to make the case, so to speak, for that statement of what our destination is. The question that arises is, in this moment, with the experiences now and those that have been before, what do you see as the difference between these two stories? True stories. What is the difference between enlightenment and the absence of illusion? What is your story? All of us have slipped out of Vishnu's mouth. We don't have beliefs. Our karma mostly burned. Our conditioning scraped away, chipped away. What is the difference between these two stories? Or enlightenment and the absence of illusion?